I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking this.
You gotta stop thinking. Just have fun.
Hi guys, Q264 here, and today we're talking physical media. More specifically, we're talking about the physical media release of Meg 2: The Trench, which is right around the corner on October 24th. And this one was already released on streaming back in September, so about a month between its streaming release and its physical media release, and which is where I actually ended up seeing it on streaming. As far as my thoughts on Meg 2: The Trench, I'll have a little mini review at the end here. This video is primarily to talk about the physical media options that are going to be available if you are interested in those. And I'm sorry this video's a couple weeks later than what I expected to get it out. It's been a couple weeks since I've uploaded on the channel, so apologies there. I try and upload every Tuesday. I'm not really sure when this video is going to go up. It depends on when I have time to edit it. For those looking for a Barbie, which box set to get Barbie release video, I didn't do one for that one because they announced it 2 weeks prior to the physical media release, and they did not have any exclusives. They only had the basic releases for Barbie, so that's the reason why I didn't do a video on that. So with those few notes, I will say that I did like the first Meg movie, and I'll get more into my thoughts on this one on Meg 2 at the end. But this video will cover the options that are available, the price points, and where to get the exclusives and everything on that. So with all that said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. So first up is the DVD option, which is $20. And yeah, I'm not really big on this art here, but what I will say is at least you can see the shark's eye, because I'm going to mention this a couple times in this video, right? You can see the shark's eye on the DVD. You go to the Blu-ray, it's the same art. You can barely see his eye there. Again, I'm going to mention that a couple times in this video. But for the Blu-ray option, it is $25 at Amazon and Walmart. Best Buy is $28. Best Buy, they charge a couple dollars more. This is not dual packed. Warner Brothers has continued to do this. They started that this year where they aren't dual packing things. Blu-rays usually come with the DVDs. 4Ks usually come with the Blu-rays. Warner Brothers is cheaping out on their physical media put out by just not including the DVD. It's just Blu-ray only as well as the digital code. So, you know, I've complained about that in several videos and will continue to complain about that because that's bad for customers to get less but pay the same or more. So this does have the same art, obviously, as I said, for the DVD. I'm not impressed with it. I don't particularly care for it. It just looks like a bad screen cap from the movie, and it even has motion blur in it. I just think this is a pretty cheap, to be honest. Like, this isn't a cool poster design. This is nothing. This is literally just a bad screen cap from the movie, and they threw it on the cover. I'm not impressed with this at all.
Not quite my tempo.
But let's look at the 4K option. The 4K option is $30 in Amazon and Walmart, and Best Buy's $33. I do like this one a little bit better than the Blu-ray option, better than the DVD option, obviously, as well. Again, no dual pack, only 4K for this one. I do like the T-Rex coming up and, you know, grabbing the Meg. It kind of puts you in store for the kind of over-the-top craziness you might expect from this movie. It is one of the opening scene in the movie. I don't think that's really a spoiler to say that. And one thing that I do actually like about this is the actual, you know, scene here is in the movie, so that's pretty good. It is reminiscent of, you know, one of the posters from the first movie, which had the Meg eating a shark and that shark going after a human. You know, the whole saying, there's always a bigger fish.
There's always a bigger fish.
But overall, I'm not super impressed by this one, but I just think it is better than the Blu-ray option. Moving into the exclusive options here, we got the Walmart Steelbook. Steelbooks are becoming more and more common for the Walmart exclusives, and I'm for it because I'm a Steelbook collector, so it's always good to have multiple Steelbooks to choose between, because Best Buy usually does a Steelbook, and now Walmart is in the Steelbook game as well, and it's a lot better than the tchotchkes Walmart used to offer with their exclusives. So I do think that's a good thing. If you want the dual pack, the only way to get the dual pack is to buy this Walmart Steelbook exclusive. It'll give you the Blu-ray and the DVD. They're asking $30 for this one, so it's $5 more than the basic Blu-ray. Again, I don't really care for this art. I think it's pretty boring in my opinion. All of the art seems to just be sharks, out of the water about to eat something. And I just don't particularly care for this. There are two things when I think of. There are two things that I think of when I think about sharks, right? Teeth, which you can see teeth obviously here. But the second thing I think about is the eyes. You can't see the eyes in this shark, right? The whole saying about from Jaws, the very famous quote about it's lifeless eyes like a doll's eyes.
Lifeless eyes, black eyes like a doll's eyes.
I want to apologize for my terrible impression, but the point still stands that if you look at this thing, you can barely tell it's a shark because you can't see the eyes. The front of the shark is like very much looks to be pushed in. It just looks like a giant thing with teeth that's about to eat something. And considering that it's a giant shark movie, you should easily be able to make out that it's a giant shark. So I'm not too impressed with the front. If you look at the back, I don't really like this either. I think this is actually pretty dumb, to be honest, right? It's also pretty confusing. So is this, there's a shark bite out of a sign, right? That's what I gather from this. So is the shark very small and it took a bite out of this sign? That doesn't make any sense. The whole idea is that the Meg's a giant shark. Well, this looks like a very small shark took a bite out of a sign. So also, how'd the shark get up there to take a bite out of the sign? Or is this a giant sign that the big shark took a bite out of? I don't know. Maybe I'm just overthinking this.
You gotta stop thinking. Just have fun.
But I just think this is dumb. I think this is very lazy, boring, a very small sign on the back with, most of it's just the credits and clouds. I just don't like the back of the Steelbook either. I don't like the front of the Steelbook. I don't like the back of the Steelbook. I think that it's probably one of the worst options from a visual perspective.
That's shocking.
Now let's go ahead and move into the other Steelbook that's available, which is the Best Buy Steelbook, which has the 4K and Blu-ray. This is the only way to get the dual pack with the 4K and the Blu-ray is to get this exclusive. Best Buy's asking $38. They're always the most premium option. And once again, you can't see the shark's eyes on the cover.
Like a doll's eye.
As a matter of fact, you can't really see the shark's eyes on any of the options for the Meg 2. The only one you can see the shark's eyes is on the DVD option. That's only because they got the DVDs, it doesn't have the eyes cut off from the DVD to the Blu-ray. Other than that, the Blu-ray, 4K, the Walmart Steelbook, this Steelbook, none of them you can see the eyes. I think that's really dumb.
Definitely not good at all.
This cover does do is show you something with massive teeth. We know the size of a plane, so we're getting an idea of the scale of this shark. So you're like, okay, well, this shark is much bigger than what we saw in the first Meg movie. This is like, it kind of makes me think of that one scene from the giant shark versus giant octopus or whichever one it was, where the shark like jumps out and just grabs the 747 out of the air. Like, is that what this is? Like, what is going on here? This almost feels like false advertising, spoilers, I guess. Spoilers for the movie if you haven't seen it. This scene doesn't happen in the movie. Not even close. So it almost feels like it's false advertising. But what I will say is at least this kind of evokes some kind of question. You're like, wow, is a shark really big in this movie? So I guess if that's what they're trying to go for, then I guess they accomplished it. But at the same time, like, I look at this after seeing the movie, I'm like, yeah, that doesn't happen. I don't know why you use this as a cover. Also, the logo itself looks very tacked on. Not very impressed at all. To me, the back of the Steelbook is far more interesting than the front. And I think this, if you just erase the credits here on the beach here and throw the logo down there, I really like the idea of the shark bite out of the poster, the image here revealing the Steelbook underneath. I think this is very interesting and could be a really good option for the front. If you flip this to the front and threw the logo down on the bottom, I think that it actually is pretty interesting. I do like this one. I like the whole take a bite out of the Steelbook here.
Take a bite out of crime.
So those are the exclusives, but there are some 2-packs that are going to be available as well with the Meg 1 and Meg 2 on DVD at Amazon. It's $25. So for $5 more, you're going to get the Meg with the Meg 2. So if you don't own the Meg, definitely worth paying the extra $5. The first movie is a lot better than the second one. I'll get into that here shortly. But for $25, you can get both of them on DVD. For the Blu-ray option, you can get it for $30. It ranges from $30 to $35 at different places. So, you know, again, it's about $5 more than just getting the basic Blu-ray. I think if you don't own the first one and you want to get the second one, this is a pretty good deal. So before we move into the recap, I want to talk a little bit of some options that are missing and also compare a little bit of the promotional art that was available for the first Meg movie. You know, because I think the first Meg movie was actually very good at promoting what type of movie it is. I think their promotional art that they did and the commercials that they did for the first Meg movie definitely led to a lot of its success. And so let's look at one of the first posters here for the first Meg movie, right? You look at this and you're like, okay, I can clearly tell that this is a giant shark. I don't have to see its eyes or teeth. Seeing it, you can tell it's a shark. You know the scale of humans, they're all trying to escape. You're like, this is probably one of the biggest, giant shark movies that we've ever seen. So it evokes a feeling. You get an idea what the movie is. If you look at this poster, which is my personal favorite one, and this would be a great Steelbook. You look at this looks terrifying. One of the things you compare this to the stuff that the options they went with for the covers for the Meg 2 The Trench. None of the Meg 2 The Trench posters or none of the art that they went with, they're all sharks out of the water about to bite something. None of them are sharks, I don't know, underwater, where they live. This one looks really great. The colors, the lights, you can tell this person's in a shark tank about to get crushed. This is a very tense scene that you're looking at, and you're like, is this in the movie? Yes, it's in the movie too. So I think that this is a really great art and much better than anything we saw from the Meg 2 The Trench. Much better! And as I mentioned with the promotional art, if you look at this thing, right, it's literally just a callback to Jaws. It's like, hey, we know we're a giant shark movie. We're going to be compared to Jaws, even though we're nothing like Jaws. We're just a B monster movie. But here, they're like, hey, we know what you guys think when you see giant shark. You think of Jaws, so we'll do a Jaws riff poster. Here's the other poster I was talking about with you. When you have the Meg eating a shark and the shark's going after a person, you get a good idea of scale, right? The art that they did, there's even a funny ones where they have like human posters as menu options for some of their promotional art as well, which is also, it's really cool. Like, I think it's a good idea and it sets you up for what type of movie the first Meg movie was. Now, there was something, some art that was used for Meg 2 The Trench that I think is at least evokes some feelings. Again, here you got the giant shark, and then you got these little creatures that are in the movie that are coming out of its mouth. It looks like the shark's coming out of the barrier for the trench here. You see a submarine here. You're like, okay, well, I get a good idea of scale. This thing is running away from something. Back on the top of the oil rig, you got tentacles grabbing this oil rig, and you're like, okay, so there's some other things that are going to be in this movie. At least this poster evokes some feelings, even though I don't particularly care for it. It is definitely better option than the options that they went with for any other releases, in my opinion. So let's go ahead and recap the options that are available, and then I'll share my little mini review here at the end. So the DVD option is $20. Then we got the Blu-ray option at Amazon and Walmart's $25. Best Buy's $28. Then you got the 4K option, which is $30, and then Best Buy's $33. Then you got the Walmart Steelbook Blu-ray DVD combo for $30. Then you got the Best Buy 4K Blu-ray Steelbook for $38. Then you got some 2-packs here. The Blu-ray for Meg 1 and Meg 2 ranging from $30 to $33 depending on where you pick it up at. So I just want to share my brief thoughts here on the movie, right? Meg 2 is not as good as the first movie. And it's not even close, in my opinion. I don't think the Meg 2 was that great. It was a big step down from the first movie. I did have a new director. John Turteltaub directed the first Meg movie, and he did movies like Phenomenon with John Travolta. He did both National Treasure movies. He did the Kid with Bruce Willis. He also did Sorcerer's Apprentice with Nicolas Cage. He's done a lot of movies, right? And I think he brought something kind of interesting to the first movie. He was not the director of the second movie. Ben Wheatley stepped in, who's another director I never heard of. If you look at his record, I never saw anything else he did. The first film is not some kind of masterpiece. The first Meg movie is not some great, shark movie, right? It's not anywhere near like Jaws, but also doesn't try to be Jaws, right? As I pointed out with the promotion, it's a dumb giant shark popcorn movie. It's fun. I've seen the first Meg movie multiple times. It's a good one to put in and watch. I think there's actually a couple pretty tense scenes in it. Meg 2 is like Pacific Rim Uprising. It's like Independence Day Resurgence. They're just bad sequels. I don't think I'll ever go back and check out the Meg 2, so I'm not going to pick up the physical media for this one personally. Is it the worst thing I've ever seen? No, it's not that bad. It's worth a watch once, especially if you've seen the first one. You're like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And that's kind of how I felt about it. Do I regret watching it? No, but I just don't really want to go back and watch it again. I just don't think it was that good, especially in comparison to the first one. I think the special effects were worse than the first movie. I think the characters were worse than the first movie. I think the story is even though the story is not really that complicated, I think the story is worse than the first movie. I think they completely wasted the idea of the trench and having other creatures come out. I think that that kind of was wasted. I just don't think I'm going to go back and rewatch the Meg 2, so I'm not going to personally pick up the physical media. So those are my brief thoughts, my brief review on that, as well as the physical media options that are available. Which option are you guys going to go with? Are you going to pick up the physical media or not? I'm always interested to see what you guys think, so comment and let me know. I want to thank everybody for sticking around on this video. Thank you for sticking around on the channel. Thank you, subscribers. All of you are awesome. And if you like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, or don't. I'm not a beggar. I'm Geechu64, and I always tell you the truth.